Well, good morning for some of you. Good evening. And this is Red, aka Black Magic or Shaka. And coming to you in the aftermath, about 2 days after the aftermath of one Hurricane Irene. I told you she was a category one, ladies and gentlemen, but y'all didn't believe me, damn it. Besides, where were you when Hugo kicked in? Anyhow, this is another fun-filled episode after the fact of The Other Side of the Ropes, the video column, the now video column about wrestling from a wrestler's point of view. Now, I know it's been kind of hard for me to sit up there and try to top the last, 2 weeks ago from over in England. But then again, it's not a pissing contest. If you guys like it, okay, yeah. You get to see a bunch of guys in the business geeking out all at one shot. And I'm glad I was able to give it to you. So, I'm cool with that. Now, back to more serious stuff. Okay. This is a kind of a thing near and dear to me, but then again, most stuff in wrestling is. But I want to talk to you guys about something that's kind of like constantly overlooked. People talk about road trips. Okay, I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, right? All right, let's see if I can break this down. Road trips for a wrestler means you're going to a venue from an extended period of time and may take you a while to get there, right? Now, kind of a lost start. How so? Okay, some guys will sit up there and say, oh yeah, it took them 2 hours to get here, it took them 3 hours. See, there's a difference between a road trip and a field trip. Now, if it takes you about 4 hours and under, that's a field trip. A road trip? Okay, I'll give you a good example. Imagine, if you will, coming from Philadelphia proper, and then you meet up with somebody further out western PA, and you got to get to, say, oh, I don't know, Indianapolis. But now this is where it gets dicey. You do that last leg, well, that long leg, I should say, from western PA to Indianapolis, but it happens in a snowstorm going across to Ohio, and it's a sleeper cab. True story. This happened in 1999, my 6 month in, and this is in Valentine's Day weekend. That's a road trip. Now on a ride back, not so bad. In fact, the snow that we came across wasn't even there when we were coming across to Ohio to get back into Pennsy, and it wasn't a sleeper cab, it was a car rental. Hey, if anybody's in wrestling, they understand how this stuff kicks off, then they can relate to that. It happens. Now, a lot of guys sit up there and they turn around and they say, oh, I don't know, it took me 3 hours to get here. I'm like, dude, shut up. I know that sounds a bit blunt, but there it is. Okay? Reason why I say this, there's been times when I've actually had to sit up there and go on an actual road trip where it took me maybe a 2.5 hour ride from Chinatown, from the Greyhound in Philly, to downtown Maryland, meeting up with the ride in question, and we're actually switching off. I have to switch off from Richmond, Virginia, and I let them know when we about to switch again when I get to south of the border in Dillon, South Carolina. And if y'all been there, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say south of the border. And basically, the majority of the ride from North Carolina at that point looked more like this. You okay? Nah, I'm cool, man. Doing about 90 miles an hour at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, that was a long stretch. When you get to South Carolina, it's not so bad. But then again, he took over and we're going to Swainsboro. And for those of you who don't know, well, okay. Swainsboro, Georgia is about maybe 45 minutes to an hour and a half away from Savannah, Georgia. How do I know this? I've done it myself because, well, I got people to live in Savannah for starters. And second of all, I figured it out myself when I had to sit up there and rent the car coming from Savannah Hilton Head Airport. Oh, that's the other thing. You can say road time, But some of us can also say we got frequent flyer miles too. So yeah, 2-hour flights count. 7-hour flights count. Hey, I had to get my passport. For all of y'all talking about trying to go overseas, you're going to need that, because if you don't have a passport, don't even think about trying to get a ticket and trying to get an airline ticket online, because they're going to look at you kind of funny, because they got to swipe your passport when you go get your ticket. Or if you go to those kiosks, that's the first thing you got to put in too, because there's a magnetic strip on your passport, but you don't notice unless you get one. I'm just saying. So yeah, a lot of stuff in the game's changed, folks. And I recall correctly, well, this is something Mike Trash and I talked about 2 weekends ago. And we might bring it up again, I'm pretty sure, next time we run into each other. But the first time I heard this was, and I watched a shooter interview from Magnum TA about 9 years ago, and even Maggie May himself turned around and said, never break in your home territory. I didn't quite understand the whole emphasis of that, but I got the gist back then. Reason being, because you practically know everybody within the region, because you all pretty much know the same style. You're not going to learn that much. You're not going to learn anything else unless you go somewhere else and find out what else they're doing. Case in point, I learned one style. Actually, I learned two styles, because the guy that broke me in when I got into the business was trained by the Samoans. At the same time I'm learning the Samoan style, I'm learning Lucha 101. Now, I go down south and find out, like in Virginia, they don't wrestle the same way as they do up here. I go to Europe, they're a bit more technical, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I mean, you learn that from watching jab tapes and you try to bring it to memory, but strong style and European, not quite the same. But then again, even Japan doesn't all discriminate. It does give me a second. Even in Japan, there's more than one style. Strong style is just one, and that's even just a shoot off of something, an offshoot of something else. I'm just saying. I used to think I was strong style until I started doing some more digging. Mine's is closer to shoot, and shoot style is pretty much an obscure thing here in America because nobody really bothered to look into it. Just saying. But once again, road trips, yeah, only a little bit past 4 hours, and you're hitting a couple of states. Otherwise, you're just riding field trips. Just saying. But on that note, it's time for the shout-outs, I believe. Yeah, I know it's short, leave me alone, but hey, it's better that way. Short and sweet, keep it simple. I'm going to work my way from west to east and give shout-outs to my boy out in Vegas. That's Johnny White Trash Logan, my partner for Top Rope Radio. And his little brother, Jesse Logan, who's out here on my end. And also further down south on their end is Southern Grizzly. Collectively, these cats are known as 38 Proof. Big ups to you guys. You got the D-line down in D.C., they holding it tight. You got the 215 Empire. You also got the 212 Empire with the new addition of my little brother, Mr. Xavier Fate, going in with Mac Daddy Ron Starr, Tyreno, Blackie the Shields, the Empress, Simply Divine, and Jimmy Dillon. And like I said, little guy makes 6, but that's the Empire. Big ups to you guys. Mike Trash, you just celebrated a birthday. Happy belated, big guy. You got, oh man, you got Junior White up in the New York area. What up, big guy? Big ups to you. There's a bunch of guys here on the East Coast. I know I'm going to forget. Forgive me. I'm going to get y'all later on. Don't worry about it. All right. Working still from right to left over in Europe. My Belgian crew, Bull, Laurie, Homeless Tom, Dr. Gangrene, Jack Demento, Rob Brawl, Wendy Alassari, Enderdad. I know it cracked. Shut up. To my boys over in England, Northampton, Mr. Teetotal Tommy, and he's about to be a father to be. Congrats, man. And Charlene, big ups. Hopefully you guys, all right, we talked about this before. Tom, me, you, and Petey, we're going to have to sit up there and invest in some hardware when she hits 15. I'm just saying. Just saying. That's my future niece. And for my current niece, Woo, and Mr. Nikki, I'm talking about the stand of fourth due. Indeed. Big ups, Petey. And for the rest of the guys in Rough and Ready and all that, Vicky, Jim, all you guys, big ups to you guys. Fair play. To my frat brothers over in Holland, Rico Bushido, Tommy N, Uncle Vito, Destructo. Greats to you guys. Over in Germany, we got my boys, Burn from WrestlingJunkies.de, Miss Zoom Zoom, Andrea Bobish for Top Catch. You got the voice, Ricky Valentine. You got my man Craig BC. You got my man Jackson in Berlin, the Berlin crew. Susie in Berlin. Susie in Dresden. My daughter Silvana. You got Crazy Sexy Mike. Ahmed. You've got well, I can't think of them all, but like I said, I'll get the rest of you guys. Marcus Eisenkolb and WrestlingFever.de. Greats and big ups to you guys. On that note, believe it or not, I actually hit the 11-minute mark, and I don't care who knows it, but like I said, short and simple, but the shout-outs are always kind of sneaky, but that's okay. On the rest of that, I'll get with you guys next week. I'm out. Peace.